All right, so today I want to talk about PowerPlacing. PowerPlacing is something that's near and dear to my heart. I've been involved with PowerPlacing for a little over a year. I got involved January of last year. And so PowerPlacing is such a cool business. I had the opportunity to go there with myself and Matthew and Lexi and my wife. We all went to Managua, Nicaragua.
Oh, wow.
Last year, and we did like a team building event. And so we had about 40 of our PowerPlacing reps, and we spent 2-3 days with them, and we just we actually had a lot of fun because we had some core values that weren't really in alignment with the way PowerPlacing is moving in the direction that we're going. And so we did a core values, kind of like a little game we played where everybody got to help us pick out what our core values are. And so that was fun because group participation in core values, I think, is really good because it kind of gives you the heartbeat of the organization. And then, you know, the individuals that work at PowerPlacing are some of the most amazing people I've ever met. They have amazing work ethic. They're genuine. You can tell they're sincere and genuine. They really want to be successful at the career, but they have very limited parameters by which they can do because of their, the country that they live in.
Right.
And so PowerPlacing gives them an opportunity to be a part of what we're actually doing here in the United States. And so for them, it's a big honor and a privilege to be able to work alongside a U.S. company and yet be part of our team. Here at IFS, we have, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm also the CEO of Integrity Facility Solutions. But we actually, kind of how I got involved is because we started out using the virtual assistants. And so we currently have 2 that work for the company, one that helps our operations team. And she's absolutely dynamic and amazing. She does all the behind-the-scenes stuff like work orders, and she does, we call them tag jobs in our industry. She'll write up the new tag job forms, and then she'll also help with other things, kind of supply orders and things like that.
That's great.
So I always tell everybody in the virtual assistant world, a virtual assistant can do anything that an American person can do sitting behind a computer. So if it's an individual that's just sitting in an office and they don't need to go anywhere. They don't need to be in the field, but it's just like admin work. We have, we do recruiting. So our other VA inside of Integrity Facility Solutions is our recruiter. So he recruits for our crew members of our team here and takes the big load off of, literally our operations team or our other program can say, hey, I need a person in wherever, Scottsdale, Arizona, or anywhere in the United States. And then our virtual assistant recruiter goes to work. He gets on social media. He works through all those platforms and works through the recruiting side of helping us find individuals. So my first perspective and take on the virtual assistant world was, A, what a game changer it is.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
B, what we do to help them in their country. And again, like I said earlier, it's a really huge piece of them being able to be part of an American organization. So we just want to share a little bit today with Jay and I. We want to just talk a little bit about what PowerPlacing is. I've kind of already explained a lot of it, but the benefits of it, how you find us, the beauty of our website and what that brings. And so let's start with the website, Jay. Let's talk about, when you first log into the website, we've got the directory. So why don't you kind of tell everybody what the directory is, what it does?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great avenue. It's a great platform for companies to see our candidates and to see exactly what they're all about. It has their bio on there. It has a little snippet of their voice, because let's be honest, there's an elephant in the room here about, when you deal with people from other countries and they're, you automatically think, oh, it's a solicitation call. Well, our candidates they're bilingual. They're mostly, all of them are college educated, and they speak great English. And so that's a huge part, to be honest with you, when people are making that decision on whether to use a virtual assistant or not. And so, we're really proud of that. And it has their whole bio. It tells you a little bit about them to make sure that they're a good fit for your company as well.
Yeah, the thing I also love about the directory is the ability to search. You can go in there and say, I want an admin assistant, I want an executive assistant. In fact, this afternoon I'm interviewing for a person that can help produce these podcasts for us.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
so behind the scenes, kind of help Matthew supplement with some of the editing and social media type stuff. And so if you have I think the big demand today is to have almost like a social media assistant, because busy CEOs like myself, we don't have time to go on all the platforms and post and do all that and create things. And then obviously with AI, that's a huge help with, and a lot of our virtual assistants, they all know AI really well. The cool thing about PowerPlacing is that most of our team, I would say the average age is in the late 20s, early 30s. And so you've got that younger generation that's got that fire and that spark, and most of them are fresh out of college. So
And they're eager.
Yeah, they're eager.
Yeah.
They're driven. They want to please the American companies that they work for. So
Absolutely. I want to go back to what you were saying earlier about, the people that we select, or the people that select us to come on board to be a candidate for us to be placed. And, you do it with Integrity Facility Solutions, but you're a dream builder, and you've always been that way ever since I've known you. And I think what you're doing over there, Nicaragua.
Tongue twister.
Yeah, Nicaragua. But what we're doing over there is we're truly building dreams. I mean, the people over there, they love it. They love being a part of our team, and they love the opportunity that can come with landing with another company. So we're really excited for those young people and those people that are motivated to want more for themselves and for their families.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing we forgot to mention on the directory is that when you go to powerplacing.com, you will see that most of the ones that we place are what we call PowerPlacing certified. And so you can actually go on the website and click on the icon that says PowerPlacing certified.
Is that like a blue check mark on your social media?
It's actually, kind of like that, like you would. But this is a different process because we actually give them a disc test. We give them somewhat of an English test to make sure that they have good English. But, disc profile, so when you go there, you can actually see like what is their personality type, what are their traits, what are their strong suits and it's all disc profile based. And so we've really tried to do a good job with vetting the individuals before we even put them on the website. So it's not like I actually have heard of websites that have been created in the virtual assistant world. And they honestly just go in there, they buy a domain, they put Facebook ads out, and then they just load it up with a bunch of people that have never been vetted, never been talked to. They don't even know these individuals. They just basically get a name and a basic criteria what this person can do. And that is not what we do at PowerPlacing.
Absolutely.
We have a full-time person that all they do is interview and vet and run them through their personality profiles. We take the recordings in so we can actually hear their English. And so I think that's a big asset. But one of the bigger assets that I see with most virtual assistant companies is they want to just place a VA and they don't manage those individuals. And so what makes PowerPlacing different is that we actually manage our teams. So let's say we have a customer and they have their own processes, their own softwares, and we do everything from aviation world to attorneys to real estate to, in the cleaning business is kind of where PowerPlacing got its start. But what we do is we actually manage behind the scenes. So we have screenshot monitor, which we can actually look and see what the VA is doing. It takes a shot of their screen. I think it's every 3 minutes or so. And so if we ever have a client that's like, hey, is my person being productive? We can actually go through the screenshot monitor and see what websites they've been on, what they've been working on, those type of things. And all of our VAs know that that's what's happening because they have to obviously give permissions for their computer. And so there's a lot of accountability in place. There's a lot of team building aspects in place. So we have weekly meetings with our team. We encourage the team. We're trying to develop a really good culture around that. And so when somebody hires PowerPlacing, they're not just getting a VA and here you go, good luck to you.
Right.
They're getting a trained VA that's trained on PowerPlacing's processes and systems and how we operate and how we function and how our culture is. And then the only thing we ask from our clients is that they kind of pick up the baton because, even internally with IFS, we have things that, different softwares or CRMs or programs that our teams need to use, and that's not something that us at PowerPlacing would even begin to know.
Right.
So there is a certain aspect that the client has to train their individual and bring them on board according to that. So
that's fantastic. I mean, that just shows how invested that we are as a company to our candidates. Not only the technology aspect of it, but how many owners do you know that would fly down to another country to be face to face with all these other candidates? And
well, it's funny you say that, because when we had this team building event, most of them that work for PowerPlacing have worked for other virtual assistants, or maybe they were in a customer service role for a major, U.S. corporation or whatever. And the comment that each and every one of them said to us was, for all the companies we worked for, we've never had the CEOs and the owners of the company come down and do a team building event. Not one time have they ever been visited by anyone from the U.S.
What a testament that is.
And so they, what does that do? That breeds loyalty. They're like, these guys are legit. They came down here. We got to see them. We got to have conversations with them. We got to have dinner with them.
And they feel a part of something special.
And it's not just like, oh, well, you're over there in another country and da-da-da-da-da. We actually are focused on great culture, great individuals that want to serve American companies well, and it's a win-win for everybody. Let's talk about from the financial perspective. If I'm an American company and I hire a virtual assistant, what does that look like for me financially?
Well, I can tell you, if you're a company out there and you're trying to find an assistant in-house, you're going to be, it's going to cost you anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000, right? For a good one. With us, it's a fraction of the cost. I mean, and it's unbelievable. You can get the exact same services through our virtual assistants that you can from an in-house assistant, and you're paying a third of the price, literally. So, with that being said, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, if they can do everything from the front end of the house to the back end, what else could you ask for?
Yeah. Well, and I think the objection on that would be, if I'm in America, I'm going to have the immediate thought of, oh, well, you guys are running a sweatshop, or, hey, you're screwing these people over because they're in a foreign country, right? And so to kind of ease that thought, I'll give you a story. We were driving around Managua, and the city is kind of developed in different ways. Like, you can go through certain areas and there's a bigger house with a gated fence around it. And then you go into other areas and it's really run down, third world type situation. And so we were driving, and I had one of our managers was driving me around. We actually had to go to Walmart, of all things. So I was looking for a suitcase, but they actually have Walmart there.
Wow, yeah. Awesome.
And so there was a security guard standing by one of the gates. And so I turned to Mike, his name was Mike, and I said, hey, Mike, what does a guy like that make per month? And he was like, man, they make, the average pay in Managua is between $250 and $400 a month.
Wow.
And I was blown away by that.
Yeah.
But what I also discovered through that is PowerPlacing, we pay our people, we're in the top 2% of what we pay individuals down there. So we're changing lives because we pay exponentially more to our reps than anybody else. And so we're able to help them and their families.
Dream builder.
And they get to work from home. So they're all working from home. They're all, and it's, to me, that's why I got so passionate about this business. That's why I wanted to be involved in it in the first place, because I saw how we're helping U.S.-based companies, but then I also saw how we're helping the community down there and the individuals down there. So I think, because you think, well, that's not cool. I'm gonna save all this money, but I'm screwing somebody over. But the reality of it is that with the exchange rate and what it costs them to live,
cost of living,
we're actually paying them in the top 2% of what individuals are making down there.
And that's amazing. That's fantastic. Yeah, like I said earlier, it is a true different culture that we're dealing with, and the people that that are the candidates that we're trying to place. I mean, it's unheard of to be able to do that for somebody, and the fact that we're doing that, and the fact that they're helping us, grow our company as well. It's a win-win situation for not only the end customer, but for us as well.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So, anyway, Yeah, I just wanted to get on here and kind of talk about that and let people kind of know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Let them kind of see. And then if anybody has a need for a virtual assistant, they can reach out to us at powerplacing.com, reach out to me personally. And so, I mean, we're willing, ready, and able to help companies grow. And in a big piece of growth, you know, especially with young entrepreneurs, is being able to afford personnel.
Yep.
And this gives them an opportunity to kind of have the assistance and the help that they need at a really, you know, budget friendly cost. And so I think that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
you have any closing thoughts for us here?
I would just say, if you guys are looking for, a really strong candidate that's not in-house, but somebody that can help you virtually and that could really change the game for you, it's not only for your company, but financially for your company. I think that's just the way to go. And PowerPlacing, it's fairly new, but it's really taken over, and a lot of companies are going that route. And so we'd love to be a part of, that decision for you guys to go with a virtual assistant.
Yeah, cool. So how do they get a hold of you? You're out here in the trenches with us,
Yeah,
trying to grow this company. So what's your contact information?
My contact information is jay at powerplacing.com, or you can reach me on my cell anytime at 214-729-8845.
Yeah, rock and roll. All right, cool. Well, it was great talking to you. I hope
Awesome,
you learned
Dan.
something today.
I did. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
everybody.
Thank you.